you so very much. I would like to send a warm welcome to all of you from Dr. Alveda Thomas, President of Atlanta Technical College, and also a welcome from me for being here at the Cleveland L. Dennard Conference Center. So as you know, our conference center has several different types of facilities that we have available here, and we do anything from conferences to wedding receptions to any special events. So there's some information on the table outside when you leave if you'd like to take a little information on that, but I just wanted to tell you two different things this evening about two events that are really great that are coming up pretty soon. Our mayor has an initiative to bring more people of color to the film industry. So this Saturday, the South Atlanta Film and TV Industry Careers Workshop will take place, and this is taking place from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock in this very facility. And it's actually going to be also over in our academic building. So if you know of any people who are interested in getting into the industry from behind the scenes, either makeup artists, PAs, film artists in terms of DPs or any of that, please have them come out because it's a really, really good opportunity for them to meet people who are already in the industry and actually bring that wealth of knowledge to South Atlanta. So that information is on the table as well. In addition, I know you've met Dr. Deborah Johnson-Blake. She's over continuing education now. And in her program, she has something called healthcare information technology courses. And that information is there as well. And then we have Best Fest, which is a time that's coming up where they're doing some recruiting for Atlanta Technical College, and that's April 16th from 10 to 2 p.m. So I just wanted to give you a warm welcome, get to know each and every one of you pretty soon, and thank you, and hopefully you'll come back and visit us.
We appreciate that welcome. This evening, we have a great presenter. But now, some of you all in the audience are not members of the Atlanta Business League, and you paid $25. And Nicholas, we're going to ask the people outside to hold those $25 because we want to take those $25 and give it back to the people that paid tonight, as long as they sign up for membership. Is that okay? Mr. Davenport, could we do that tonight? That's fine. All right, so everybody tonight that paid to come, we want you to leave as a member of the Atlanta Business League. We have a host of series of information coming to you throughout this year, and we hope you'll be encouraged tonight to be a part of the Atlanta Business League. So we'll get you an application if you don't have it already, but as you leave tonight, please get your $25 back and let it be applied towards your application to be a member from this point forward. Thank you all so much. Now, this time, we're going to ask the son, Mr. Michael, to come up and introduce Miss Accolades, as I call her, and we'll let him tell y'all her name. I know as Miss Harris's daughter, one of the most famous ladies in this area was her mother, and she trained this young lady exceptionally well. Now, she didn't send her to Tuskegee. She sent her about 700 miles away to be educated, but we're just very proud of her, and tonight, we just want to give that honor. But two, we want to recognize these young ladies in the audience and men with these ribbons on, the gold ribbons. They're not trying to be alphas or omegas, but these are members of the educational committee. And we want to invite some of you all to join the committee as well. So next time, you'll be wearing a yellow ribbon, all right? And so with that, we want to introduce Mr. Michael. And will you come on, Mr. Michael Harris, and not Michael Harris, Michael Griffin, Ms. Harris's grandson, to introduce his mother, who's going to do our presentation tonight. Enjoy it so much. Give a hand for Mr. Michael Griffin.
Good evening to everybody. Thank you so much for attending this evening. I want to first start off by thanking the Atlanta Business League and our CEO, Ms. Leona Barr Davenport, in the back. Obviously, I want to thank Mr. Ed Menifee for the introduction. I do appreciate it. Thank you for recognizing all parts of my family. I do appreciate it. And obviously, the Atlanta Technical College here, we do appreciate you for letting us use your facilities. They are gorgeous. This is my second or third time coming over here, and I promise you it gets nicer and nicer every time. I also want to reiterate something that Mrs. Davenport often says is if we can take 5% of our annual spend and put that back into the Atlanta Business League, we will continue to see ourselves grow. And I definitely want to reiterate that 5% of our annual spend that with people in the Atlanta Business League. We like to help each other. With that being said, I am here to do a job today, and that is to introduce a certain somebody that I'd like to call. I can call a couple different names. I can call her mom, I can call her boss, I can call her whatever, might suit the situation. But when we speak about the topic at hand this evening, client experiences, not only does Accolades embody what the client experience is all about, that's been my mother's passion for 21 years now. And I can honestly say that after she started this business in my old bedroom in our old house, it's been a pleasure and an honor to not only see this business grow, but to also work with her and give her the best assistance that I can possible. So without any further ado, I will introduce her, Mrs. Daryl Harris Griffin of Accolades Incorporated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed, for asking me, and thank you, Leona, for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here this evening. The original topic was customer service, and all of us that own businesses or work in businesses or anyone that works with clients or customers, whatever you want to call them, has a need for good customer service, because effective customer service is a retention strategy. It helps you to keep them. You can always go out and get clients, but the ability to retain them is what's the most important thing that will add to your bottom line. Woven within the semantics of customer service are client experiences. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about tonight, is how to create those experiences that are memorable, that people will remember you or people will remember your business and certainly continue to do business with you. And I'm going to stand here and hope that I can do this. I want to talk about creating experiences and creating memories, and I'm going to talk about best practices from some well-known brands that you've heard of, and I'm going to talk to you about how they've done it. And then I'll talk, the very last one is about little old me, a very small company. As Michael said, we started it 21 years ago in his old bedroom, and it was just me for 5 years. So real tiny, but it's something that I made a decision to do 21 years ago that I can put me up there. Let's first start with Hilton Hotels. We've all heard of Hilton Hotels, and I want to tell you a little story about what happened in that particular brand. This was many, many years ago, before cell phones or before anything, and I want to say this was the early 1940s. And it was a very rainy night one night, and this gentleman was on his way to the Palmer House in Chicago, Illinois. The plane was late because of weather. It was delayed many, many times out of his destination. And when he finally got to the Palmer House that evening, got a cab and got over there, he walked into the Palmer House and gave his name and found out that his room had been given away. And he had traveled many miles to get to the Palmer House because he had a business appointment very close to there the next day. So the desk clerk, the night clerk, and it was a clerk, he wasn't a manager, apologized to him, and he said, we've got people that cannot leave Chicago because of weather, so they kept their rooms, and because we didn't hear from you, and we understand why, you were on a plane, we gave your room away. And this man stood there completely dejected, and he said, well, can you help me? Can you help me find a room somewhere? And the guy said, well, we've done that for other people. Everything around here due to this storm is filled. And so the man stood there and he said, well, I just don't know what I'm going to do. Can I bunk here in the lobby? And the answer was no. There were fire codes and different regulations why you cannot sleep in a lobby. And the night clerk thought about it, and before he was about to turn this man away, he said, I tell you what. He said, there is one space, I don't even want to call it a room, but there is one space left here in the hotel. It's about the size of a closet, and it's where we stay at night if we get stuck here. There's one single bed, there is a toilet, and there is a sink, and that's it. There are no amenities. And he said, I'll just go there. I'll let you stay there for the evening. And so the man said, well, where are you? What's going to happen with you? And he said, don't worry about me because we're full tonight. So the gentleman goes, and he spends the night, and he gets up the next morning. He's very grateful to this night clerk for doing that. And several years later, many years later, the night clerk had moved up to the hotel manager, and he was summoned to headquarters for Hilton Hotels. And of course, he immediately got nervous because he wanted to know, why am I being asked to come there, and who knows me? And we always think the negative. So his boss just kind of pushed him on, and he said, I think you should go. And long story short, he gets to the headquarters building of the hotel, and he's told to go to this room. And when he gets there, it is the office of Conrad Hilton. And when the man walked in, he said, you look familiar. And the reality was, the man that he gave his room to was Conrad Hilton. And he was there to promote this gentleman who stayed with Hilton Chain for many, many years until he retired, because he created a client, he created an experience for a person he did not know. We know that if that story was reversed and he knew that the person without a room was Conrad Hilton, his very first thing would have been, I'll find a room for you. But Conrad Hilton was one of the first businessmen who always did a mystery shop of his own business. He never went in under his name, and he always went in at odd times. It was by design that he knew that there was going to be bad weather, and he wanted to test this system. So the very first experience is Hilton Hotels. The next one we have up there is Nordstrom. How many people in here shop at Nordstrom? Does anybody know why Nordstrom would be on this list for creating a client experience? Yes, Gretchen. Talk to me about that, because you're... Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You are exactly right. And here's the deal with Nordstrom. Nordstrom sales personnel are not bound by an invisible fence called My Department. If you go there and you're a young lady and you are buying a dress or an evening outfit, the lady that helps you with the dress can take you over to the shoe department for the shoes, and she can take you to the jewelry department for the earrings, and she can take you to the purse department for the purse, and she never leaves you. While it's very positive for the salesperson and their commission, it's very positive for you, because you've now created a relationship with someone who understands you, who knows you, and who certainly understands your taste. Nordstrom, now they're known for their ability to have things returned. Some things they haven't even sold you, because there's an old wives' tale that a man returned a set of tires to Nordstrom, and they don't sell tires, but they took them back anyway. I can't verify that story, but it's been out there a number of years. But Nordstrom creates experiences by creating relationships, one-on-one relationships, and they're not bound by, oh, I'm sorry, I can't go to the shoe department because I only sell handbags. The next example I want to give you is Starbucks. How does Starbucks create client experiences or create experiences for the buyer? Anybody know? What does Starbucks do? Who goes there? Yes. They create an experience. They do have good coffee. They know your name. That's what it is. They know your name. They know what you drink, and they know your name. And they know that after the first few times that you go in there and order that drink, and I say to my daughter-in-law that has 5,000 names to it, because I can't even remember that you need a double pump, whatever you get over there. And because it's 17 names, and they go, okay. And I'm like, how do y'all know what she wants? And then they write her name on the side of that cup. And it only takes a few times for them to write her name on the side of that cup, because when she comes in there again, they'll go, same thing, or you want the usual. Good morning, Erica. Good morning, John. They remember you. What is the most important thing about you that's unique? It's your name. Starbucks does very well with your name. They remember you. I go to Starbucks once a month. I don't get a coffee with all the names. I get a tall pike place, very basic. Hi, Daryl. You still want a tall pike? Some days the guy will say to me, it's been a while. And I go, yeah, I come in here about once a month. And he says, how about a grande pike today? Daryl, how does that make me feel? And I don't go every morning. But Starbucks is also known as the place that's the third place. The very first place is your home. The second place is your business. And the third place is Starbucks. It's where you can go and chill and relax. You can have your cup of coffee, your latte, your cappuccino. There's nice music playing. You have music at home. You have a nice couch at home. You have a nice ambiance at home. So why would you leave home to go to the third place? because they've created that place for you that feels good. There are students who sit in there most of the day. There are authors who sit in there and get their books done because it feels good in Starbucks. There's nice music playing, all the things that you have at your home, but you will get in your car and you will drive there. You don't have to go too far because it's about one on every corner. But they're there, and you make a point of going there, and you'll pay $4.50, $5.50, whatever it is for the drink, because it's not the drink that you are buying. What are you buying? The experience. And you're buying the personal attention. The next one that I have on here is a local name. How many of you have ever been on Mitchell Street to Friedman Shoes? Anybody? Leonard. Yeah, I'm sure you have. Okay, huh? Yeah, one behind me, right. Okay. Thanks, Mary, and welcome. Friedman Shoes, been in business since I cannot remember when, down on Mitchell Street, and I'm a native Atlantan, and ever since I've been around, they've been there. And Friedman Shoes is known for variety of what they sell in different colors and sizes, but what they're really known for is large sizes, the 14, 16, 18 size shoe. And they cater to people in the NBA. Well, how did that happen? It wasn't by surprise. When the NBA, and this was written up in something, when the NBA travels, they get on the plane and they leave where they are and they go to the next city. And when they get to the city, they get on a bus. Bus takes them to the hotel or the practice facility. Bottom line is they don't have cars because they're traveling with the team. And every now and then, a couple of the NBA players would go down to Friedman Shoes in between practice or before the game or after the game. Cab would get lost, whatever, and they'd get in there and they'd have to rush back. And the owner of Friedman Shoes decided, wait a minute, if I got 2 or 3 coming in here, how do I get them here? Because they don't have a car. So he now sends a limo to the hotel where they stay. And he takes them from that hotel to the store. When they get to the store, he gets the shoes, he ships them back to their home or wherever they want them, and the limo takes them back. It doesn't matter whether it's one or whether it's the whole team. He's created an experience. And Shaquille O'Neal in one day bought 32 pair of shoes from Friedman Shoes. Probably made the man's year, not his month, made the year. But he bought 32 pair of shoes because they created an experience for him that's memorable. So what happens if Shaquille O'Neal, who probably wears a size, this big shoe, 22, he wears 20, size of a tire, right? So if Shaquille O'Neal was pleased, what is Shaquille O'Neal going to say about Friedman's? Well, when people come to Atlanta to play the Hawks, what's he going to tell them? You need to go to Friedman's. Created an experience and differentiated himself from other shoes. The very last example on there is about a small boutique Florida bank. I don't even have the name of the bank, but it's not a major, it's not a SunTrust, it's not a Bank of America. And at 4:20 on a Friday afternoon, a lady who's a very small depositor there, a little elderly, but not very much, she called there in a panic that she needed $200 in cash. She said, if you could please, there's traffic, if you could please hold the door. I will be there, it'll probably be right at 5 or 5 after 5. If you could please just hold the door for me. I'm coming. I need to cash this check for $200. So the person that answered the phone immediately went to the branch manager and said, if you could hold it, Miss So-and-so is coming here today by 5 o'clock. Branch manager said, is she leaving now? He said, give me the phone number. He calls the lady back and he says, don't get out in the traffic. Write the check for $200 and endorse it to the bank, and I will be at your home with the cash. On Monday afternoon, lady got through the weekend. She was very grateful. On Monday afternoon, the lady took all of her deposits from the big national bank that she had them, and she came over and did the transfer and deposited in this bank. Not quite a millionaire, but she was close because he created an experience for her. I left out the part. He didn't make it to her home by 5 o'clock. It was about 5:15 given traffic. But how did this lady feel about the bank? Wasn't a big depositor, wasn't a known name. That's what we have to do in our businesses, is create these experiences so that people will want to do business with us. There's a takeaway on each slide, and the takeaway on this one is longevity in business is not in winning clients, things up there, but in keeping them. So there's going to be a takeaway. So step one is create memorable experiences. Let me back up. The topic is creating client experiences, 6 steps to success, and I didn't say that, I apologize. Let's go on to number 2. Number 2, how do you keep your clients? Know your competition. If you don't know what your competitors are doing, how are you going to know what you do well? There's no way that you're going to know because you don't know what they're doing. So how do you find out about them? You've got to find out your competitive advantage, and the way that you need to do that is through competitive intelligence. What's competitive intelligence? Can anybody tell me? Anybody know? Gathering information on your competitors. I know what pretty much my competitors, I have all of their brochures. I've been to all their websites. How did I get that information? Well, I have relatives, I have friends who call up and request it. There's no shame in that because I know that happens to me too. But it lets me know how they go to market. I might not know what they charge for something, but I absolutely know how they market themselves to get clients. If you don't know what your competitive advantage is, you are at a disadvantage. And trust me, people are going to know about you whether you know about them or not. Okay? Let's talk about competitive advantage here. Let me move on up. How are you going to know how to benchmark your service offerings? You won't. If your competitor offers this and you offer the same thing, how are you going to know which one is better? Because you need to benchmark yourself against somebody. Get the very best, top of the line, biggest company in your industry and benchmark yourselves against them. Many years ago when I was with Xerox Corporation, Xerox sells copiers. Xerox benchmarked themselves against American Airlines call center. So you say, well, that's an airline. This is a copier company. Why would you do that? Because at the time, the mid-'80s, American Airlines had the very best practices in call centers. So you say, what does that have to do with Xerox? Well, when the machine is broken, somebody has to call the call center to get a technician to come out and repair it. It had everything to do with Xerox. So you may want to benchmark yourself against people that are outside of the industry. Let's talk about 2 well-knowns. What about Home Depot and Lowe's? Home Depot we know is the leader, over 2,000 stores in the do-it-yourself or the home industry, what you do for construction or whatever. So Home Depot spends all this money and they go out and they do demographic studies and they decide exactly where they're going to put these stores. We're going to put one here, we're going to put one here, we're going to put one here. And Lowe's comes along as number 2 and they say, if it was good enough for Home Depot to put one here, I'm going to put one right around the corner. You got to come near me to get to them. Gives them an advantage, but not a big advantage. So Home Depot has all these SKUs and all these things that they sell, and Lowe's comes in and they sell the same lawnmowers and the same washers and the same dryers and the same what else. And Lowe's doesn't say, I'm only number 2. They're glad to be in that position, okay? But they do say, how can I differentiate myself and give myself a competitive advantage against the Home Depot? Does anybody know what they did? Anybody know what they did? They match price. They do. What else do they do? They did what? They did that. You're right. What else did they do that the whole world just thought, wow? People on the floor, yeah. They did something else. I heard somebody over here. You like about, okay, installation. You know what they did? And all of these answers are correct. They started same next day service. You buy your grill by 6 o'clock, we'll have it at your house the next day. They had to figure a way, what's our competitive advantage? It's called speed to market. How can I get to that homeowner who doesn't want to sit there and wait till Thursday? They're having to, you knew July 4th was coming, but you waited because you thought nobody was coming to your house, and then you decided you needed the grill or you needed the washer and the dryer. And we all are growing up in a society where we have to have it yesterday. So Lowe's created the competitive advantage by having next day delivery. It worked. What about Domino's and Papa John's? Domino's created in the industry to differentiate themselves from Little Caesars and all these people. What was their competitive advantage? What was it? 30 minutes or less. You're exactly right. And all these people sat back and went, oh my goodness, Domino's is getting all the business, and they were. They kind of backed down now because there have been a number of accidents and other reasons. So along comes Papa John's. Along comes Papa John's. 30 minutes or less. Well, that doesn't give them a reason to use us. They're used to that with Domino's. The Domino's magnet is on the refrigerator. What did Papa John's do to create the competitive advantage? You could come and pick it up. You're exactly right. That's one of the things they did. What else did they do? Family owned? I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess they are. Okay, that's good. What else did they do? They came at you from another direction. I can't comment on that. They made a pizza that tasted good. You know what they did? They got you up here in their advertising. What does their advertising say? Better pizza, fresher ingredients. So Domino's came at you on a time basis, and Papa John's came at you for telling you how great and wonderful all the ingredients are. It created the competitive advantage. What did they do at Super Bowl time? What did Papa John's do at Super Bowl that says, I have got to get out here and get ahead of Domino's? What'd they do? Y'all saw it. Just think about it. They gave away $1 million, and what else did they do? Every pizza was $5, no matter how many toppings. Domino's was over there selling the regular pizza, and then they charged you for all the toppings. Papa John's said, no, I need to sell as many as I can for Super Bowl weekend. $5. Whatever you want on it is $5. So you need to figure out in your business not only how to create the client experiences, but to create whatever is your competitive advantage. Competitive advantage, and I will repeat, is not always about price. There are people that will pay you more for giving the same thing as somebody else if they know it's going to show up right and on time. It is not always about price. So if your thing about finding out what your competitor does and what they charge, and you say, well, they charge $5, I'm going to charge $4.80, you could be leaving money on the table. Because you need to figure out what goes with the $4.80 and what goes with the $5 that they're charging before you make an arbitrary decision on price. Because all sales is not price-driven. It is value-driven. I hear Leona Bar Davenport all the time in board meeting when she goes to different companies to become sponsors and partners with the Atlanta Business League. Leona, do you know the word that you always say? It's 2 words. What's the value proposition? What are we offering you, Mr. Mrs. Company, to become a supporter and a sponsor of the Atlanta Business League? Leona talks about value. Price comes last. So don't allow your competitive advantage to always be about price, okay? Next thing, read, study, learn, adapt, and adopt. The first thing I would say to you on there is become a lifelong learner. Most of us are out of school, been out for quite a while. But the reality is, and my son teases me all the time, jokingly, Mom, how do you know all these stories, and how do you know all these things about brands, and how do you know all this stuff? Hang on, I'll show you. Because I read. I have read just about every business book about every company out here. I can tell you about ESPN, I can tell you about Dunkin' Donuts, I can tell you about Walmart, I can tell you about the Ritz-Carlton, I can tell you about Estee Lauder, I can tell you about FedEx, and the list goes on and on. Because it's here that you get the best practices. It's here that you understand what companies do, and you can take those and adapt and adopt to your business. I will say, at the top of this list is a book called The Little Engine That Could. And I keep it at the top of that list because that children's book sits in my office as my personal mantra. We're a very small company, And we are a little engine that can and does. So I keep that there for very personal reasons. There are tons of business books. These happen to be some of my favorites. And if some of you would like this list, make sure I have your email address tonight or your business card, and I will be more than pleased to share it with you. But take what you learn and understand about other people and adapt it to yours. Let's look at the takeaway. If you don't take care of your clients, who will? How many of you have ever gotten business from somebody that was displeased with somebody else? I know you have. So have I. And people will tell you. They will tell you that. So if you don't take care of them, don't ever assume an order. Don't ever assume business. Oh, yeah, they come back to me every year. Oh, we work on that project every year. I'm going to get that. Somebody could have been working you the whole time. There was a program that I worked on in this city for 15 years, and there was somebody on my tail for 15 years, my competitor. Made me better, made me responsive, made me do better because I knew if I had a misstep, that person had a step in the door. I didn't want that. Don't ever assume you have it with your clients because clients hold the power. They hold the checkbook, okay? Let's go on now to step 3. Got these out of order. Pay attention, listen, and hear. What's the difference between listening and hearing? Or is there a difference? Yeah, it is. What's the difference? Some of y'all listening to me right now, but don't hear me. The reality is we need to listen to what our customers say about us. Very first thing up there, compliments, complaints, and questions decide whether you're going to be a success or a failure. None of us wants to hear bad news about what we do, but we do. It's what we do with that information that makes us better. I had a client that I chased for years. Finally got the order. I'm excited. I ended up being at a women's conference with this lady, and I was going over to her, and I was just so grateful that I got this business, and I had gotten a couple of orders, and thanking her, and it had been years for me to get this business. And she pulled me over to the side. She said, well, I have some feedback for you. So you think, then your knees start shaking, right? And so I said, okay. She said, you have a process in your office that when I buy something from you, I get a form called an order acknowledgement. And on that form, it's like a contract, and it says what you're going to do and what my award is going to look like and whatever. And I have to sign off on that. And you say at the bottom, sign this. I have to fill in the date they need and all. And you say, sign off on this, and then either scan it in and email it back, or you say, fax it back. Right? I do. She said, but I travel all the time. I'm viewing this on my BlackBerry. This is inconvenient for me. It's approved. Can I just use my BlackBerry and type it in and say it's approved? And I said, yes. And I was in San Francisco, and at 6 o'clock that morning, which was 9 o'clock here, I got up and I called the office and I got everybody in the conference room. And I said, and I explained what this lady had said, and I said, believe it or not, she's not the only person who travels. But she's the only person who told us we needed to fix something that was broken. And if we want to continue to have her business and those people who have not told us this, we need to fix this. So from that point forward, we will now accept approved or not approved if you're traveling. Because she didn't have a way to scan it in and email it back to me and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we didn't want to put her out to go find a business center or go find a Kinko's to do business with me. We want to make it easy. I thank her for that. So not all complaints are bad. They're bad if we don't accept them for what they're worth. Okay? Next one. You as the customer. I talked about Conrad Hilton and how he was a mystery shopper in his own business. How many of you have mystery shopped your business? Do you know how your phone is answered? Mary, good for you. Do you know how many rings it takes? We have a rotation in our office that never changes. We know who answers first, second, third, fourth. We know it cannot ring over 2 times. We never have a voicemail on unless we are in a meeting. because people hate voicemails. I don't care how pleasant, I don't care how wonderful they are. People don't just dislike them, they hate them. I mean, is there somebody in here who likes them? Okay, I just want to make sure I was in good company here. So why do you have your voicemail on during business hours? Do you not want to talk to these people? Do you not want business? How do you mystery shop your own business? How do you find out how your phone is answered? How do you find out how quickly your emails are returned? How do you find out? How do you do that? How did Conrad Hilton do it? He knew what he was doing. He went under a different name because people didn't know what he looked like. How do you do it? You go back to your friends and your relatives, friends and family, and you get them to shop it for you. You do it yourself. I do it when I call in because I know how many times that phone is supposed to ring when I call my office. And I know about who's supposed to answer when I'm not there. I'm the last person in the rotation, the very last, but I don't have a problem answering the phone. And I think he'll tell you, if it rings over 2 times, I don't care who's in the rotation, I'm on the phone. Because that's somebody that needs me. And that's one less sale that I have to go out and get. I'll talk to them. That's the advantage of being a small business. There is no bureaucracy in Accolades. You want to speak to the owner? You got her. And I'm going to talk about that at the end, about your voicemail. So shop your own business. Understand what's going on in your business when you are not there. Understand what's going on in your business when you are there. Your folks texting all day? I got some young folks, and I know they do. Oh, excuse me. And everybody in there, there's nobody in the office over 30 but me. That's exactly, Mary. Take up for them. Take up for them. Thank you very much. I doubt it. Okay, that's what you get. Okay, that's what it is. So mystery shop your own business. That will allow you and give you a way to understand what needs to be fixed in order to create client experiences and customer service. That phone is a very powerful customer service tool. It's one of the least expensive tools you have. Next one on here. Ask, listen, change, and fix. We talked about that because one size doesn't fit all. Are all of your clients just alike? Then you cannot treat them just alike. There are some basic things that you will do, but those basic things are going to change with every single phone call, with every single client, with every single request. One size doesn't fit all. And trust me, people know when you are forcing their size 8 shoe in a size 6. They know it. They absolutely know it. I talked to a lady on Monday who called me. She was a client of ours. She was told to go use somebody else, and now she's back to us. Last year, she didn't work with us. And she said, I'm coming back because of professionalism, because the lady that I worked with would have an appointment with me at 3 o'clock. And she would call me up at 2:30 and say, can I come at like 5 or 5:30 because I have somebody else close to you and I don't have to make but one trip. She told me that. How did she feel? How did she feel? She wasn't important. Now, was there a way that that could have been worked? Yeah, that she wouldn't have had to know that. However, I believe the second person should have been the one that worked around the first lady, not vice versa. And there's a way to do that. Yes, I'll be in your neighborhood. I'll be close there. I'll be glad to come by. I'm meeting with someone about an hour before you. That's to person B. But you can't call person A and put person A out. You can't do that because now what has happened? She's left that person. She said the lady was never on time. She said, you know, my time is important. And when I say 4 o'clock, I expect someone here at 4 o'clock. I'm with her. I'm a salesperson. And salespeople, we have to put up with people that don't quite value our time. But if you tell me 4 o'clock, I'm going to be there. I need your business. And I'm going to work with you if you're not. But this lady was tired of that, a whole year of this. What kind of client experience was created with the other person? Not the kind we're talking about. A very different client experience. Step 3, what's your takeaway? The sale begins when the client says no. Until a client tells you they don't want to do business with you, or your price is too high, or your delivery isn't good, you're not really selling. What are you doing? Talking, telling, discussing. That's when your whole body language changes. You sit up on the edge of the seat, you get closer, you unfold your arms, you stop doodling, because now you're about to lose this business for whatever reason. But it's not until that person tells you no, for whatever reason. Let's move on now to step 4. Step 4 is delight and surprise. Delight and surprise is a basic tenet of Starbucks Corporation. And Michael is passing out something here that we're going to talk about. Okay, what did you all get? Cracker Jacks. Wow. This is huh? Okay, Mary, you're doing it. You're opening it. Why? Were you all expecting Cracker Jacks this evening? No. How did it make you feel? In the middle of the whole presentation, you got Cracker Jacks, and you got it in a nostalgic box. Okay? Let's talk about creating the Cracker Jacks excitement. I saw you excited. I looked at your faces, and I saw that. Why don't you create that Cracker Jack excitement for your clients? Now tell me about it. You got the Cracker Jacks, you saw it. Mary started opening hers. Tell me about why you wanted to open it right away. Exactly. Because on the outside it says, Selector Series Prize inside. Why do we all buy crack? And you can open it, by the way. You can open it. I'm not going to take it back. I'm going to take all the prizes. No, I'm just kidding. Why did people buy Cracker Jacks? For the prize. Yeah, we like the caramel corn. Yes, we like what's in that. But we bought it for the prize. So you need to ask yourself, after you decide what kind of excitement you're going to create for your clients, you need to ask yourself, what are people really buying when they buy from you? When you buy that Cracker Jacks, are you buying caramel corn? Secondarily, what'd you get it for, Mary? The prize inside. How about cereal? Because Cracker Jacks started that, and then it moved to the cereal industry. What happened with the cereal industry? Hello? Prize on the bottom. People come home with the cereal, dump the cereal out, get the prize. Okay? So what were people buying there? The prize. How about boys that collect baseball cards and you get bubble gum? What were they buying? The cards. They're not buying. In your business, what are people buying from you? Think about it. Ladies, when you go to the MAC counter or the Fashion Fair counter or the whatever counter, and they say, you get this bag if you spend $35. Bag is worth about $250. And what do? The lady said, you said, I want that bag. And so the lady says, yeah, with a $35 purchase. And what do you say? You say, okay, and what else you say? Just give me anything that's worth $35. Because the reality is, it doesn't really matter to you. You want the bag. Yeah, it matters, but that's not the most important thing to you, what you're paying the $35 for. The most important thing is you get the bag. What in your business are people really buying from you? They may be buying your products and services, but they may not be. You need to think about that, because that will allow you to create the Cracker Jack excitement. Color outside the lines. I know when we were in school, we were told to stay within the lines. Staying within boundaries, whether visible or invisible in your business, can cause stagnation. This is how we've always done it. This is how we've always done it. So what? I'm a huge proponent for tradition. But I am not a proponent of tradition for tradition's sake, just because we don't have the ability or the time or the resources to change. What happens in, am I speaking out of turn here? Hope not. What happens in the black church? We sing the same hymns, the same way. The same lady leads the song. The same deacon raises the hymn. The same person says the prayer. The same person does the baptism. Am I talking to the, can I hear, what, amen? Or what do they say in the church? Y'all talk to me now. Because I've been in the black church all of my life, okay? That's fine, but what happens when one day somebody comes along and says, hey, we do the same thing every Sunday. That's why we don't never get out on time. Because it's for tradition's sake that we sing all 4 verses of the hymn. Why? So look at your business and find out where you're stagnated, because where you are stagnated and get out of it will help you to create the experiences called customer service for your clients. Welcome. Last one on here. Get personal. Now, I don't mean that like you're thinking. Bring your minds away from there. But understand your client. Know that your client is interested because they are the soccer mom or the soccer dad. You find something about soccer, send it to them. It also gives you a good conversation piece. I have a client that loves cars. I don't know that much about cars, but by the time I get there, I know something so that I can carry on a conversation about cars. She's always very grateful for the conversation. Know their birthdays. And I'm going to give you some things when you leave about client appreciation. Send a birthday card. I don't care if it's a constant contact. We send a constant contact birthday card to most people in our database. Not everybody, most of them. We take time to find out their birthday. Do not ask them their year. They're not going to tell you. But you can get the month and the day. You don't want to send one electronically? Then buy one. Handwrite it. Send a handwritten thank you note. I come out of a sales call, mine are in the trunk of my car. Stamps are in my purse. Drop it in the mail on your way back to the office and they'll have it the next day. Wow. Novel idea. It's not email. It's handwritten. Those are the things that create the experiences where people feel good about you. We call it in our company, touches to the client. Touch your client and figure out different ways to touch them. You know they like they like Cracker Jack? Take them some. You know they like Dunkin' Donuts? Half dozen donuts to you or a dozen donuts is a lot cheaper than going out to get a new client. Cheaper than lunch. I have a colleague, a competitor of mine. He went and had custom pizza cutters made. He has his logo on the pizza cutter. What does he do with it? He runs by that Papa John's and he gets a pizza right around lunchtime. And he takes it in there with his pizza cutter with his name on it. Wow. He spent $15. He's got a client for life. I have another colleague, a competitor of mine, that one holiday gave everybody an inexpensive candy dish that sits on their desk. You know why? Gives them an excuse to go back with the M&Ms and the jelly beans to refill it once a month. Boy, they're glad to see him. Glad to see him. How cheap is that? Because he goes to Sam's Club or Costco and he buys the stuff in bulk. How inexpensive is that? That's a Cracker Jack idea. That creates excitement. And guess what? He put the jar on the receptionist's desk or the security guard. Why? Why? He needs access. He needs to get past the gatekeeper. And also, everybody walks up to that desk to eat. And they look on there and they see his logo on the jar. And then when it's getting low, they say, well, you know, we haven't seen so-and-so. Oh, he's coming. Do they love him? For M&Ms and Cracker Jacks and all that kind of stuff. All right? Ending step 4. Start with, does anybody know that word? I was about to step away from the mic. Does anybody know what that word is? Anybody from southern Louisiana? Leonard, you are from there. What's the word? Lagniappe. Very good. It says start with lagniappe and end with profits. What's lagniappe? You don't know? Do you know? Okay, tell us. Something more and extra. You buy 12 donuts, I'm going to give you 13, a baker's dozen. what little extra are you doing in your business? What little extra are you doing to create the memorable client experience? What is your lagniappe? In mine, it might be that I'm gonna, if I have that client's ribbon, logo ribbon, I might wrap the box for them because now they got a turnkey. They came, that we mailed it, all they have to do is get to the event and put it on the table. A little something extra. It says start with lagniappe and end with profits. Does anybody know from the 80s, might have been 70s, when drive-thrus became very prominent and McDonald's was looking at what people were buying? Does anybody know the one question they asked you when you went through the line? Anybody know? Would you like fries with that? $80 million profit center. Fries weren't doing good. It was one question. Now, that was a little something extra that you paid for. But when you rolled up there and you asked for a burger and a chocolate milkshake, what was that person trained to ask you? Well, yes, we have that. Would you like fries with that? Oh, yeah. 80 million bucks later. Look at your business and understand what you can do that's a little extra. It may not be attached to that item like the fries were, increase in revenue on the fries, but it will be attached to your bottom line, your profitability overall, because people will remember the lagniappe, just a little something extra. Takeaway on here, do you deliver what is expected or do you exceed expectations? Think about it. Only you can decide that on your business. We're now up to step 5, empower your people. What's the first thing up there? Be selective about who you select. Be selective about who is representing your brand, your company, and you. I'm glad to know Mary Parker is in the room tonight because I was going to use this example and I didn't know you were coming. But recently I was at a GMSDC meeting. And Mary Parker's director of operations, I'm not sure if his title was there, and there was an elevated, what is his title? Is that it? Assistant director of operations. There was a contest called, were you there? Yes. There was a contest. COO, Chief Operating Officer. But right now, title is irrelevant. All right? There was an elevator speech contest. Elevator speech. And that means, how many people know what that means? I don't have to tell you. What's the elevator speech? Come on, tell me. There you go. There was this elevator speech contest. And there was a podium, and there were 7 or 8, I don't know how many people that were in the contest. And they all walked up to the podium, and they said, hello, I'm Mary Jones, and I work for ABC Corporation, and we do XYZ. And then they walked away. Next person comes up, hello, I'm Bob Smith, I work for so-and-so, and we do whatever. Third person walks up, because he had to be about the 5th, 6th person in line. Next person walks up to the podium. I'm so-and-so, and we do so-and-so. Keeps going until Greg Sims steps up there. He walks past the podium. He does not use the podium as a crutch. And he stands there and he says, I'm Greg Sims, I'm the COO with All-in-One Security. We are an award-winning company, and these are the 3 things that we do. So now I know who they are. He's given me the 3 things that they do. But what did he do that was, what was the one thing that he did that was, I don't want to use the word, that was spectacular? What did he do? What did I just tell you? By not standing behind the podium, he differentiated himself, and that's what we talked about 3 slides back. Now, obviously, he won. He represented her company very well. Mary Parker was nowhere in that room. And I sent her an email that night and said, if all of your people represent your company this well, you're in good shape. And I also went on to say, and if they aren't able to describe what you do, then you have a person there that needs to train them. You cannot be everywhere in your company. It's impossible. But if you are selective about who you select, then you got a pretty good shot at being represented well. One of the books on this list is Defining the Gold Standard, and it's the story of the Ritz-Carlton. And the Ritz-Carlton, I think I'll put it up here, the Ritz-Carlton goes through a process of interviewing that is the same for the doorman or the housekeeper that it is for the hotel manager. And they have something in there called, first of all, every single employee of Ritz-Carlton is called ladies and gentlemen. Every worker there, that's what they're called. Ladies and gentlemen. How does that make them feel? The person is vacuuming the floor. How do they feel? They feel as good as the guy behind the desk. The next thing they have there is something called Day 21 in the hiring process. You read this book about them. And Day 21 means that you've been there 21 days, and we're going to bring you back into this interview process and see where you are, because if you're doing real well, we're going to shake your hand and thank you and tell you to go on and keep doing your job. If you're not doing well, we're going to shake your hand and tell you and thank you and send you on out the door, because they're not going to waste resources on people that have no real way to be there over time. Think about and be that selective in who you select. And do not look at the level of the person in the organization. Remember this, the lowest person on your totem pole can completely screw up your company. Empower them to do what they're supposed to do. And that takes me to what I have up there about have a pit crew mentality in your business. NASCAR, racing, tires wear out, we're running laps. What happens after so many laps? The racer has to do what? Pull over to the side. They got to change the tires, check the oil, whatever they do. That is not the time to say, you're on the front rear, or you're on the front, you're on the back, you're on the right, you're on the left. They don't have so many seconds, because guess what? If they don't have an approach to teamwork and they're not empowered over their tire or their whatever, what happens? He loses. He only has so many seconds over here on the side. The pit crew is in total control of that timing of when he gets back out there to run those laps. So that has to be a sense of teamwork, and it has to be that you've empowered the person that's on the front right tire. He cannot be looking for what's the thing when you take the tire off? I don't know what that is. The what? The wrench, the lug wrench. He can't be looking for it. Everybody on that team has to know exactly what they do, and they have to be empowered. And they have to have a sense of teamwork, because, look up here, hold them accountable. The back left tire was wobbly. We know who was over there. Not to make a person feel bad, but it's because you were assigned the left rear tire. That's your responsibility. Hold them accountable for what you give them. There are job descriptions for every person in my company. Hold them accountable. There are performance appraisals for everybody in my company, contract and employees. Hold them accountable, because you can't be everywhere. Then also reward and recognize them. You just don't hold them accountable and you don't say thank you. Or you don't give them something that is tangible, a tangible showing of your appreciation. Next one, messaging. Are you constantly in your company saying that's policy? Because you're going to stagnate yourself right out. There should be policies, but there should also be practices. And the minute you tell a client, I'm sorry, we can't do this because of our policy, the client is gone. The client is gone, because they are not feeling any connection with you, because you have more consideration for words on a piece of paper called a policy than you do for whatever is going on with that client. I heard somebody over here say the client is always right. You're exactly right, even when they're wrong. They're right, because at that time they're yours. And you need to figure out how to fix it, and you can go slam your hand and all that other stuff later. But we got to fix it first, okay? Ensure quality is the main ingredient in everything you do. I've got door prizes tonight, and it's a book that I just read. It's on the list. And it's called The Ice Cream Maker. It's about 115 pages long. And it talks about quality. You're going to get the 6 people are going to get our ice cream scoop because Accolades has cool ideas. And you're also going to get a gift card to Brewster's so you can go get your ice cream. And the basic premise of the ice cream maker is every single thing that you do in your company has to be about quality. Not part of it. Not, this is our quality process. It's not a standalone. It's in everything you do. It's how you answer the door. It's how when people come to your facility, how they're greeted. It's how your signature line looks on your email. It's how your stationery looks when it goes out. It's how your agenda looks when you bring a client in. It's everything you do. It's how clean your restroom is when someone is there. You can't have quality for this and nothing for that. And the whole premise of this book is, you can read it in an hour, is about quality. And some people, 5 lucky people, I have 6 copies, 5 of you, I'm going to pull your business card. But the first one goes to the first person who was here, who got out of the car with me at 4 something this afternoon. Give us your name. Uh-oh, what happened? Hang on, y'all. And we're almost done. Okay. All right. Step 6, bridge it in. Go up one more. Oh, wait, go back, I'm sorry. The takeaway thought at the bottom. Take a look at that. The quality of customer service delivered will never exceed the quality of the people who deliver it. Start with the first one up there. Be selective about who you select. The other one is, your people will treat your clients like you treat them. If they don't feel needed, if they don't feel that you care, they're not going to care about your clients. There will be no memorable Cracker Jack experience. Let's go to the last one, and we're rounding this up. To each of you, be a leader and not a boss. Be a leader and not a boss. Bosses are bossy, and they do not lead. They push people out the door. They push employees out the door. They push clients out the door when you're bossy. Yeah, we know you know your business. We know that you're the expert. We understand that. We're very clear about you understanding what you do. But there is a way for that to come across that's not bossy. Okay? Be on the team. Why? Individuals win trophies, but teams win pennants. You may be a leader, but be on the team. I heard about a manager here in Atlanta not too long ago that planned a retreat for teamwork, for the team, for the staff. Had a van to come, it was somewhere in the mountains. Had a van to come, everybody went to work. Van came, picked up everybody. Manager wasn't on the bus. Manager came in his own car. What did that say about being on the team? It clearly showed them that this person was not on the team. You didn't ride on the bus. How much? That made no sense, okay? Be on the team, because you're never going to win a pennant if you're not on the team. We all know the story of Michael Jordan when he won his first ring. You know what he did? Does anybody know the story? He bought everybody on the Bulls a Rolex watch. He was MVP. But he didn't get there, just him and Scotty. It's 5 people on the floor at one time. And he was very clear that he did not get the MVP, and the Bulls did not win that ring because of him. He couldn't take every shot. And if he did, he didn't make every shot. He didn't miss many. Okay? But everybody got a Rolex. The guy that picks up the towels, the guy that drives the bus, everybody that was responsible for that victory got a Rolex. Doesn't matter about the Rolex, the value. It matters that everybody felt appreciated. And he let them know, I know why I'm MVP. Not because I took the shots, yes, but because you all were behind me. Okay? Be honest. Ethics are the foundation of what you do. If you tell somebody you shipped it, you shipped it. In my office, it may be tough sometimes, and I'll tell you, we've got one going on now today, that I've got to make a call tomorrow that I hate. I'm going to hate to make it, but I have to do it. Be honest with people. If you tell them you're going to do it, do it. I don't care if it hurts. I don't care if you bite your tongue until it bleeds. Otherwise, you're not going to create that experience. The one on here, don't hide behind your people. Don't hide behind your policies, your voicemail, or your email. We know those stories. You call people at 10 minutes to 6 when you know they're not there so you can leave a voicemail. I'm so sorry that I missed you. They've been there since 8 o'clock this morning. Or you send the email, and you can see the email thread that somebody is not understanding what's going on. Pick up the phone. We all loved phones when they came out. Now we hate phones. But don't hide behind it. I know some things are tough. I got a situation tomorrow that's tough. And the person is going to be very upset with me. It's not my problem. It's because of Japan. We can't get something out of Japan and out of customs. But this is a client that has little tolerance for change. I didn't cause the tsunami. I didn't cause the earthquake. I don't deal with customs, but guess what? She deals with accolades. And I got to make the call that she's not going to have this. And it's not going to be pleasant. I'm going to be as pleasant as I can. But she's not going to be pleasant with me because she has no tolerance for any kind of change. But I can't hide behind that. I can't have somebody else to call. I've got to make that call. What's the takeaway? Leadership is a position and not a title. Therefore, anybody can lead. Anybody in your office can lead. Anybody in your business can cause a positive client experience with your clients. Anyone. As long as you, go back 2 slides, empower them. There was a limo driver that drove for the Ritz-Carlton. He knew that these people came in town once a quarter. Flight was usually late. They were coming out of New York, and it was usually late. They were hungry. You know what he did? Before he left the Ritz-Carlton, he went and got the menu for food. And when they got to the airport, he said, "And what would you like to eat? Kitchen may be closed when you get there. I don't know. They can start preparing it." He took their order. He sat there on the phone. He called in the food. When they got there and had their shower, their food was there. Guess what? Those people always use the Ritz-Carlton, and they always ask for him. Because he thought ahead. You're going to be hungry. Your flight's going to be late. By the time we get through traffic, it's going to be there. Find that way to differentiate. It is not about the position. It is not about the title. It is not about the position. I'm sorry, the title. Last one. Let's talk about and summarize, where does your brand stand? You create memories? Think about it. What kind of memories are you creating? What's your competitive advantage? Do you know what your competitors are doing? Do you listen and hear the good and the bad? I'm going to have to put my ears on tomorrow because I got to listen to this person that's not going to be pleased with accolades. And it's going to be personal. I'm not pleased with Daryl Griffin. Okay? Do you provide Cracker Jack excitement? Are they glad to see you? Are you giving them a little lagniappe, something extra? And then what's really inside of that is, what are they buying from you? What are they buying? Are they buying what's in the box, the toy? Does your brand empower its people? If Mary Parker's COO had not been empowered, he never would have entered that contest. He entered to win, and he won it because he was empowered. He represented all-in-one security. She didn't have to be there. Are your people empowered? Is quality the main ingredient in everything you do? Everything you do. Not part of the things that we answer the phone right, but then we don't do something over here. We misspell the words in something that's going out. Nobody does spell check. And finally, are you the ice cream maker? The book here, and I'll tell you the beginning, is about a guy named Pete. And he's running he's the plant manager at an ice cream company called Dairy Cream. It's a fictional company. And it's a Monday, and he has just found out. Profits are down, it's bad. His boss has told him two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to change my management team, that meant Pete didn't have a job, or I'm going to sell this business, that meant Pete didn't have a job. And Pete has got to figure out in 115 pages what he is going to do to keep his job. He has a wife, and he has children, and he has responsibilities. I certainly hope that you will take a look at that for your business, and 5 of you will. Handouts. A dozen ways to say thank you. These are ways that you can create client experiences, and I want you to take this as a takeaway. Are we on time? Are we okay on time? Okay. I want you to take this as a takeaway. Most are very basic and very simple, because most of the things in life that have great value are very basic and very simple. I'm not going to read the definitions to them, but I am going to go through them very quickly. Number one, I am going to focus in on number one, is sending greeting cards. Sending greeting cards. It says the Guinness Book of World Records lists Joe Girard, a car salesman from Detroit, as the world's best salesman. Girard earned the honor by selling 18 cars in a single day. I know that's the same look that I had. 18 cars in one day. My goodness. One of his secrets to success is sending 12 cards per day every year to every single customer and prospect. How simple. How simple. How simple. The guy that sold my parents a car back in the 70s, and they continued to go to this guy because he kept in touch. He still calls every day after New Year's. Just called to wish you a Happy New Year. I want to thank you for your business. I certainly hope you and your family, certainly hope you all had a good holiday season. Quick. But guess what? My parents have been going to him since the 70s because of that. That little thing, that one little phone call. This guy sends 12 cards. Number two, get something with your logo on it. You don't have to buy it from Accolades, but buy it. Have something with your brand on it that you give to somebody so that you will be memorable, so that they will remember you for whatever it is that you do. One of the things that I give away to clients is a little cell phone holder. Sits on the desk, because I want them to do what? Call me. It sits there. It's one of my $5 or less items. It has my logo on it, has my phone number, and it has my website. $5. Boy, people use it every day. It holds the iPhone, it holds the BlackBerry, it holds whatever kind of phone you have. iPad, iTouch, whatever it is. I can't get a client for $5. I can't take you to lunch for $5. But it works. Number three, write some personal notes. We just talked about that. Number four, invite them to something. Tickets to something. Now, I do put down there. Wait, I have to go down to another one. I'm sorry. Number four, invite them to something. Lunch, dinner, Starbucks. Starbucks. Simple. I have a lot of meetings at Starbucks. People like it. And those that don't experience it. Number five, small gifts. Go to the middle part of that, and it says, one note of caution. Some companies have strict guidelines about accepting gifts, as gifts can be construed as bribes. So when in doubt, ask your clients. Ask. You don't want to go up and give a Christmas gift, or you don't want to go and give something, and it's against the policy, because it looks like you haven't really done your homework. Okay? So be careful with that one, and I gave a note of caution. Turn over to the other one. Food, we already talked about. We talked about pizza and cookies, and we talked about jelly beans, and we talked about M&Ms. Number 7, why don't you give something away as a referral reward? These people have referred. Do you know the greatest compliment you have is that somebody goes and tells somebody what a good job you did? Reward them. There's a lady in the Atlanta Business League that has gotten 3 rewards from accolades because she has sent people to us who buy. I wouldn't have known those people. And here's the irony. I've never sold anything to her. But when people say they're looking for promotional products, she says, call accolades. And we have a policy in our company that when a new name calls us, we always ask, and how did you get to us? And if they say, well, Ed Menifee told me to call, we're going to send a note right then, or we're going to call Ed Menifee, or we're going to send him something with our brand on it. Why? Ed knows more than one person, and that's one less client I got to go out and get. And if he says something good about me, somebody's going to hear it a lot better than if I say it. Okay? Now, number 8, reverse referrals. You know what your client does? Why don't you send them some business? Why don't you help them build their brand? They're going to love you for that. Number 9, customer appreciation days. Have them to your office. Have an ice cream social. Have a breakfast. Have a lunch. Have a sandwich. Have a cookie. Just show them you're thanking. Just thank them. You're not selling them anything. You are, but you're not. Let them know they're appreciated. Serve as an information resource to them. I have people, when I read the Atlanta Business Chronicle every week, if I see something that I think is relevant to my clients, I cut it out and send it Monday or Tuesday. They may not like it. They probably already read it. But I want them to know I'm thinking about them. Number 11, host an event. And number 12, life events. Thanks, Mary. Thank you. These are 12 things that don't cost a lot of money, but they do cost you in your time. And guess what? Clients appreciate your time because it lets them know what? That you're thinking about them. So those are your takeaways. In closing, what is our recipe for success? We start with a commitment to excellence. This is my last slide, ladies and gentlemen, when I am pitching to a client. We combine it with extensive product knowledge and our service capabilities. We blend generous helpings of memorable client experiences. We top it off with great customer service and delivery, and what do we get? The optimal mix of quality, which provides a return on my client's investment in doing business with us. Thank you very much, and I'm open for questions if you have them. Any questions? Thank you. Any questions? None. Okay. Everybody even say, let the church say amen. Y'all not saying nothing. What does the pastor say? Talk to me now. Somebody needs to talk to me. No questions? All right. Well, I'm going to pull. Yes. Okay. Can you get a copy of my last slide? I don't have a problem with that. There it is. There it is. Go ahead. Good for you, and that's the whole purpose, and I appreciate that.
Ma'am, be sure and give us your business card. We'll be happy to send that to you. Ma'am?
Yeah, she's taking it now. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. No other questions, comments, feedback? Do we? Yes. Thank you. Y'all didn't put that on the film, did you? Leona, I don't want to see that at the annual meeting. Thank you I know you're going to leave that in. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. I enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you. Leonard, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I said thank you. She leave. Be difficult. Oh. Okay.
Now, is she
I got
good
one question
or
over
is she
here.
not good?
Oh, thank you.
She's good.
I got to answer this question. Okay, good. Hold on 1 second. Thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I got one more question over here, and then we're going to pull. Who had a question? Yes. Uh-huh. I'm going to let him answer. Michael? I'm going to let him answer that. And I'm going to see, we've not been asked that question in public, so I'm going to be real curious to see how he's going to answer. But he'll be honest. He'll be very candid.
I figured she was going to let me answer this question. To be perfectly honest with you, most of the things up here that she's spoken about were things that I grew up learning and watching and seeing by example, whether it was from her, or my father, or my grandmother. They've always been on the same page as far as how to present yourself, always have expressed the value of customer service. So like I said before when I introduced her, this is truly not just her passion, but probably our family's passion. And let me give you a brief reason as to why. We run small businesses, and I don't know if any of you work for large businesses, but a lot of times in a large company, when you make a mistake, you have billions or millions or billions or whatever dollars to combat that mistake. We don't have the luxury of making certain mistakes, if any at all, so we have to do it right the first time. Did I say that right, Mom? How many times have I heard that? Do it right the first time? Do it right the first time. Thank you.
But she wants to know how is it working in a family?
Honestly, I love it. Not something that I grew up always thinking about doing, but when I really started asking myself tough questions about what I wanted to do and the people that I actually modeled myself after, it was my parents. So I grew up watching them build both businesses. It was a very easy transition for us to work together because I'm an only child, so we did everything together growing up as it was. It was very natural. We're very, very close, small family, but very, very close-knit. So it was nothing more, instead of Michael, clean up your room, it's Michael, prepare this report. So it wasn't a whole lot different, to be perfectly honest with you. And, you know, they trained me all the way up, so I was just applying it to something different, that's all.
Question. Thank you all very much.
All right, give them all a big hand. Come on, Leonard. All right. We're going to do it in this order. Leonard Jenkins is on our committee. We'd like for all the members of the Education Committee to please stand. They've done a wonderful job tonight. Give them a big hand. They put this together. Good to see you. Leonard is going to come forward and say thanks again and do the survey. Is that okay, ready to do the survey? And then we're going to hear from Nicholas, and then Ms. Benedict, Ms. Davenport. We thank you for being here tonight. We want all y'all to see Ms. Davenport and to meet her, and she probably just give us the closing comments for tonight. Is that all right? But let's give Ms. Accolades again, you all, a big hand. A wonderful job. And I don't have to have my prize tonight, but if all of y'all will buy something from Accolades, then I'm sure all of us will be okay. Well, thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Well, I don't know if I need to do anything else. But again, we really do appreciate everyone coming out. But more importantly, we'd like to thank Daryl once again. I am her agent, and anyone, I'm taking bookings for her. So if you'd like to have her come to your organization and make a presentation, see me later, and we'll sign the contract. All right, but again, this is what the Education Committee of the Atlanta Business League is all about. We're trying to help all business owners, and if this is your first time being a part of a gathering of this nature, we'd ask that you tell someone else what you got out of this meeting this afternoon. And I hope that it is something positive, and we hope that you will come to our future events. Again, we would like for you to express whether or not you thought the presentation was good, not good, or just how you felt about it by completing the survey that we've passed out. We, as an organization, will be only as good as you help us to be. We need feedback. Oftentimes, people don't like to give feedback for fear that they may be saying something that people don't want to hear. Well, I think Daryl expressed it very succinctly that sometimes you just have to take that info and learn from it. And that's what we'd like to do. We'd like to hear your comments so that we can, in fact, make these series of educational series even better. So I would ask that you please complete that before we leave. Daryl, you have one last, sure?
Everybody got a handout, thank you, Leonard, and then some of you got door prizes, but before you leave, keeping with the ice cream theme, we do have highlighters for you with all the different colors of ice cream, and it will tell you on there that we highlight your brand every day. So enjoy them. Michael and Erica are passing them out now. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure. Have a good evening.
Again, on behalf of the Atlanta Business League, we would like to thank you all for coming out here. And just as a point of clarity, want to let you people know that coming out up next month on April 19th, we're having our Business Power Forum at the Atlanta Life Financial Building, where we will have the president, CEO, and the owner of the Atlanta Dream basketball team will be the speaker for that. And then again on April 26th, we'll be back here for our Business Enrichment Seminar Series, but we would love to see you there again. And also on a note, coming up in May 17th, we'll be having our 33rd annual CEO luncheon, and we would love to see you all there. So thank you again for coming out there, and have a good day.
Taking the time to invest in yourself. And that's what this is all about, investment in yourself. The Atlanta Business League is your organization, those of you who are already members, and we bring to you the value proposition that we think you are looking for from the organization. So thank you again for coming. We look forward to seeing you. Nicholas has given you the calendar of events and activities. Thank you to the Education Committee. Again, thank you, Daryl Griffin, who is not only an excellent CEO in her company, but an excellent longtime board member of the Atlanta Business League and a past chair of the board. Thank you, and please take the time to get to know each other. Have a good evening.